Hey, what is up, YouTube? Don't mind my fleb. But people like watching trans guys do their shots for some reason. So I'm here in my underwear today to show you how I do my shot. I do subcutaneous once a week. Generally, I do it every 9 or 10 days. Testosterone cypionate, however you pronounce that. It has a half-life of about 8 days. It means, and my doctor said, it stays in your system for about 14 days before coming out. So even though I'm really, was really prescribed once a week, I do it every 10 days, and that is completely okay with my doctor. I've talked to her about it. We're good. So my supplies: a band-aid just in case, and a sterile alcohol wipe. Got these at the Dollar Tree. They're really cheap, you know. This is actually my last one, so I need to get more. And I have my testosterone cypionate, however you say that, 10 milliliter vial. It cost me $40 using the GoodRx app. Really important, please use the GoodRx app if you have any prescriptions you need to get and you don't have insurance. I'm sorry, I'm sick. So, I got my needles, and yes, I'm about to show you my needles off of the internet, off of a reliable medical website that sells needles in bulk. They came out to 15 cents a needle, whereas buying them at the pharmacy came out to 25 cents a needle. So when I bought them in bulk, it was just cheaper, so I have 2 years worth of needles. So I have my drawing needle. This one is a 22 gauge, 1 inch for drawing. Then I have my injecting needle, which is a 27 gauge, ½ inch needle. Really small, because I do them in my stomach. So, first I will take my alcohol prep pad. When I do my shots, I get nervous beforehand. I don't really have a fear of needles. It's just, you know, I don't remember which side I did my shot on last, but here we go. There we go. Got that. And my dosage is it's like 0.5 milliliters. So what I do is, I take the needle, I draw it back to about right there, and I do this because it creates negative pressure inside the bottle. I'll show you what that means. It makes it easier to draw. So pull it back, uncap, and my hands are clean and everything. I had to even wash them beforehand. You do this, turn it upside down, and then you push the air you sucked in, and this makes it easier to draw. Having issues, I want you guys to be able to see it, but obviously. So, get my dose. And testosterone is a thick liquid. It sometimes takes a minute to draw out. Set that there. And then pull this back. Recap the needle. Twist it off. And I'm sorry if this video is kind of low quality. I really don't regularly film my shots, you know. So I'm trying to make sure you guys can see everything, and sometimes I'm kind of forgetting. So this isn't going to leak generally, so I can set it down for a second to take this, do this, put the needle on. So before I do my shots, I have to kind of work myself up to it sometimes. I don't know why. It's just kind of hard to stab yourself, but got this. Let's see. Let's uncap that. You generally don't want too much air to be in the needle. Just a little bit of air isn't going to hurt. But you don't want too much to be in the needle because, So, I generally take my thumb and measure about 2 inches away from my belly button. Pinch the fat here. Needle. And takes a little bit of revving up to get there, but then you just painless. Some days the shot will hurt. Some days it'll bleed. Sometimes you'll hit a nerve. Sometimes you'll nick a vein. That's just how it is. Generally, hitting a nerve or nicking a vein doesn't cause too much harm. But if it does just keep bleeding profusely, talk to your doctor. But a little bit of blood isn't going to hurt. So I've got all the liquid in. I hold. I generally do it for about 20 seconds. So 1. And this is done to prevent leakage. And then I release the fat, hold it for 10 more seconds. And this is just something I have learned to do that sometimes helps. It's called the Z-track method, I think, where you release the fat before you pull out the needle. And there's just a little spot of blood. I'm not going to bother putting the Band-Aid on today. I generally don't. I only do if it decides to bleed a lot. But that is it. That is done. So after that, I take my needle and my drawing needle, and I was originally using this, and this is a thick plastic laundry detergent bottle. It's kind of small. I ran out of space in it actually, so now I'm just using this tea bottle. It's a lot bigger. Really good tea too. So if you wanna get some tea, and you just drop it in, put the cap on, and you're all done. And I have been on tea for 9.5 months now. This is how I've done it every time. And I stung a little today. Some days it does, some days it doesn't. Again, that's all normal. If it's extreme pain or extreme bleeding, or if you have like a lot of redness and itchiness, talk to your doctor, because you could be allergic to it. You could have hit a vein directly. Especially with intermuscular. I don't do intermuscular because intermuscular needles freak me out. I'm not even afraid of needles, but just the idea of stabbing myself with one in my thighs. My thighs are particularly sensitive to stimulation. I don't know why. They always have been. Just the idea freaks me out. So yeah, there's my shot. You can see maybe just a little spot of blood. It was really simple, really not scary. Takes a little bit of getting yourself going, but otherwise it's pretty easy. So I know a lot of people are really intimidated by the idea of shots, but don't be. You can always ask your doctor to do subcutaneous instead of IM if IM needles freak you out like they do me. Really, they shouldn't, because they're really not all that bad. Most of my friends do IM. I just have weird things about my legs. If you are afraid of needles, you can ask for gel, which sometimes comes in packets, or I think in Europe it can come in a pump bottle. You can get gel, or you can get patches. Both of these things have some downsides too. Of course, the downsides of shots is going to be you're sticking yourself with a needle. The downside of gel is that it takes forever to dry, and it can rub off on other people and animals. That's something you have to be really careful about. And the downside to patches is that they tend to really irritate people's skin. I went with cypionate because it was the least expensive option. Gel and patches are both really expensive, and I don't have insurance. So, yes. I'll show you one last time. Okay, so thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.